Hi everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Let's dive into some of the things that Kevin Samuel said. I'm only addressing these things as a teaching and growth moment. Let's just say he puts men on a pedestal, that men are some kind of god that women need to worship and lower their standards for, just to have and keep them in their lives. Should women prioritize men? Should women lower their standards, break their barriers, go through hoops, do all these things just to attract and keep a man? Is having a man the greatest achievement in the world? One of the most interesting things that Kevin Samuel said that I thought was interesting is he said that women control access to sex and men control access to relationships. But I feel like women have given up their power because they just give up their box, their pee, whatever you want to call it, their toto, whatever you want to call it, their punani, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what you call it, but they just give that up to anybody, any man. They don't make men work for it. Even a man who doesn't deserve it, just give it up constantly, without, even when knowing that somebody is not deserving, you just give it up. It's like women have lost that power, the power of the P, because it's just readily available on the market. Like, it's so cheap, men don't have to work for it anymore. And I think that's part of the problem nowadays with relationships. Well, at the same time, men are very picky, very choosy. They have barriers, they have standards when it comes to relationships. They don't even give them up that easily. It's like women have to jump through hoops for a man to even give them a title. So men are winning in relationships because they are holding their relationship high standards here. They are holding on to their power, which is relationships. That's what women want. And, it's like women feel like they have to jump through hoops to be in a relationship with a man. They have to lower their standards, they have to do everything they can to please this man so he can at least be in a relationship with them. Whereas men are not jumping through any hoops to get the P. So women are giving up their power and men are not. So, and I think that's part of the problem why people like Kevin Samuel feel like men are on a pedestal. Like women are really, really worshiping men. The happiest people today are the people that are single. People that are in relationships, they are the happiest people. Because you know why? Because they don't have to deal with all these toxic relationships and drama. They don't have to deal with all these men issues. So whether they end up alone or not, it's not a curse. Being alone does not mean being miserable. Being alone does not mean being sad. Being alone does not mean being forsaken. It can be a blessing in disguise, honestly. Because in today's world, with all these relationships that are very toxic, people are killing themselves because their boyfriend depressed them to a point where they just don't want to live anymore. You should count your blessings. If you're alone and happy, you should count your blessings. That's why statistics say that people who are single and without children, they are the happiest people. Well, I don't know about children, because honestly, when I didn't have any children, I wanted children. So for some people who don't want children, yeah, they'll be happy without kids. But for those who want kids, you might not, I don't know if you're going to be happy without kids, but all I know is that people who are single, forget about the kids part, well, that's relative. People who are single, and I'm speaking also from experience, are happier. You have less BS to deal with, it's the best thing to be when you're single, honestly. People who are scared of being alone are simply codependent. When you are whole, when you are content, when you are healthy emotionally and mentally, you don't need other people for your happiness. You don't need anybody else to feel whole, because your happiness comes from inside. You can be by yourself, can be with somebody, you can still be happy. You don't need anybody to be happy. And to me, those people are in a very good place, because no matter what anybody says about them, no matter whether they are alone or they're with somebody, those people are always happy because their happiness comes from inside. And people like that, why should you give up your happiness to be in a relationship with somebody who's very toxic, who just want to depress you, make you not even know who you are anymore? No. It's a blessing to be single and happy. Not everybody who's in a relationship right now is happy. Most people who are in relationships are the most miserable because they're dealing with other people's drama on top of theirs as well. They put up with a lot of crap, they put up with a lot of nonsense, a lot of toxic energy just to be in a relationship. I feel like people who are single and happy and living their life, those people are very strong because it takes a lot to be by yourself. It's easy to be stuck in this darkness of a relationship because you don't have the strength to get out there and fly like a bird and be free. I respect people who live bad relationships because they choose themselves, they choose their kids, and they are much happier. Much happier. Don't let anybody make you fear being alone, and if you fear being alone, you should probably look into that. Like, why do you fear being alone? If you're codependent, honestly, you should go for healing, go to therapy, because every human being should feel comfortable and at peace and happy if they have to be by themselves. If you get into a relationship that makes you happy, great, If not, great. But I feel like no one should be forced or should feel like they have to be in a relationship, even a horrible one, just to save face. If you end up alone, so what? It's better to end up alone and happy than to end up with somebody and be miserable, where your life is literally a living hell on earth. So no, whatever clever someone say, trying to put men on a pedestal, trying to shame older women, trying to shame single people into being relationships, no. Scratch that. Your goal in life should be to be happy, whether you're by yourself or somebody else. And if somebody's not making you happy, well, nobody should be making you happy in the first place. If somebody is not adding value to your life, if somebody is messing with your happiness, leave. Don't be with that person. Don't be with that toxic person. You should put yourself first because you want to always shine. You want to be happy. You want happiness is good for your health, for your soul. Nobody should be in a very toxic relationship just because they want to say, oh, I have a man, or I'm in a relationship, oh, I'm not alone. No. If you're scared of being alone, seek therapy, get some healing, because to me, that's not normal. That's not normal. Yes, 2 is better than 1. It's good to be in a relationship only if it's a good one. Only if you are being upgraded or you are upgrading each other. It's good to be in a relationship only if it's a good relationship, not a toxic one, where it's a mutual partnership, where you are not being abused, where you are not being made to feel worthless, where you can flourish. If you have that kind of relationship, perfect. By all means, cultivate it. Like nowadays, people put up with toxic relationships just so they can say they have a man or they have a woman, but then they're living in hell. They're depressed, not to show the world that, hey, I have a man, I have a woman, I'm happy. And then behind closed doors, these people literally want to die. Like, why even want to show the world that when what matters the most is it's not being addressed? Showing the world that you're happy is not going to save your life. It's not going to help you in any way. What happens when nobody's watching? That's what matters the most. That's the difference between life and death. Be with a man who's not making you happy, but then you want to show the whole world that you're happy. Once you realize that you're not happy, do something about it. Put yourself first. Get out. Especially when there's abuse. Or go through therapy. But I don't think anybody should be encouraged to stay in an abusive relationship. No. Life is so much beautiful, freeing when you are with a wonderful person who makes you happy, you make each other happy, and you respect each other. Please, men and women, do not give a pass to any man or woman who is toxic. Don't put up with that. And if you do put up with that, whatever happens to you is your fault. If you choose not to get out, you are enabling bad behavior. You are putting up with it. Kevin Samuel talked about taking advice from people. But let me say this, just because somebody's in a relationship doesn't mean they can give good advice. Some people are putting up with a lot of crap that's in a relationship. Now, take advice from people who can give you good advice. Whether they are single, married, in relationships. If you think they could give good advice from their heart and in love, then listen to them. Don't judge them. Oh, you're not in a relationship, or you're divorced, or you're single. No. That doesn't mean anything, okay? Good advice is good advice, no matter where it comes from. Just make sure it's a good advice from the right person who has your best interest at heart. That's all that matters. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. That's it from me. I hope to see you in the next video. Don't forget to like and share this video.